Hello Ace, this is RetroTK2 and welcome to this C# tutorial. Today we're taking a quick look at another extension for Visual Studio called ReSharper. You'll need a fair knowledge of C# to fully appreciate this video Ace, but I use this extension all the time, so it's important that I introduce it to you as soon as possible. So let's get started. Type ReSharper into Google and it should be the first link. Click the big download button to download the 30-day trial. I have a paid license for ReSharper 8 Ace, but the features I'll show you are the same in 10. Let's look at the pricing. Click on For Individual Customers and you'll see that ReSharper has adopted a subscription pricing model. $129 is a steal for how much time this extension saves. Other licenses come with different JetBrains products such as .cover and .memory. I would say that for the extra $20 these products are definitely worth it Ace, but they're out of the scope of this video. Once it is downloaded, click the .exe and follow the installer. If you have any previous versions of Visual Studio installed, I would advise you deselect these from the installed menu. Accept the license agreement and wait for it to install. With it installed, launch Visual Studio and close the license information dialog window. A dialog should pop up asking you which shortcut scheme you want to use. I only ever use the ReSharper ones Ace, but feel free to try Visual Studios. Now to show you what ReSharper can do, I'm going to create a very quick console project Ace. Visual Studio will create the program file with a lot of unused using statements at the top. Unused code will appear lighter and can usually be removed safely. Click on the usings and press Alt Enter to bring up the options menu. Get used to that shortcut Ace, it's used constantly. With the menu showing, click Enter on Remove Unused Directives and File. All the unused using statements should disappear. Let's write some code. Say I create a class called myClass and a method called myMethod and create an instance of a class that doesn't exist yet. Well, if I select the code and press the magic shortcut Alt and Enter, we can create the type. Select Create Type, My New Class, and a type will be generated below. You can use this trick with methods and constructors as well. I add the parameter I want in my constructor, in this case a string, select the code, press Alt and Enter, and press Enter on the Create Constructor My New Class option. This will create a constructor in the My New Class, complete with a string parameter. You can press Alt and Enter while over the MyString parameter to initialize a private field as well, but I did it the long way around Ace. Here I'm creating the private field. Press Alt and Enter on it and then press Enter on Initialize Field from Constructor. This will add the new parameter to the constructor and initialize the field from the parameter. Doing it this way means the constructor is left with a parameter that we're not using, and since the signature of the constructor has changed, we're getting an error where we created the MyNewClass instance. If this was a larger code base, there could be thousands of places where this constructor was being used, so this method is definitely not the safest. Fortunately here it's easy to fix. Click on the MyNewClass instance and navigate to the Change Signature option. From here we can remove the MyString parameter. Doing so removes the parameter and also removes the string we have passed to the constructor. Re-adding the string will remove the error. Bit of a backward way of doing things Ace, but we got there in the end. Let's change the parameter's name. Click on MyString and press F2. If this is the first time you've used a ReSharper shortcut, you may get a shortcut dialog popping up. Check the Apply to All ReSharper Ultimate Shortcuts box and select one of the choices. I can then rename the parameter from the dialog box. ReSharper will also warn you if you have any unnecessary code. Here I have a redundant field initialization indicated by the blue line. Click on the affected code, press Alt and Enter and select Remove Field Initializer. ReSharper can automatically format your code. If I press Ctrl, Alt and F, the Format Code dialog shows up. The default full clean should be good enough, but you can create your own custom one if you like Ace. Press Enter and the code will be nicely formatted. Now I'll show you how easy it is to define a method. Here I create a class called MyNewestClass and create an instance of it in the main method. Then I call the method that I want to create, press Alt and Enter, click Create Method MyNewestClass.run, and my method is created in the MyNewestClass. ReSharper will also try and import any using statements that the code requires. Say I create a list, ReSharper will bring up a tooltip with the correct list suggestion. If I click off it, I get an error and a tip telling me to import systems.collections.generic.list. Pressing Alt and Enter will import it for us. The scroll bar is different with ReSharper. Here I can navigate the warnings and errors in my code by clicking on the icon at the top of the scroll bar. The error also shows up as a red line on the bar. If I press Shift and Delete on a line, the whole line will be removed. Let's look at unused code. Here I'm calling my method from a public method run. The method's text is in full color. If I comment out the line with Ctrl//, my method goes a lighter color indicating that it's not being used in the code. Now I can remove this code with confidence knowing that it is not being used in my codebase. Let's put these classes into separate files. I'll bring up the Solution Explorer so you can see this a little better, Ace. Click on the class you want to move and press Alt Enter. Select Move to MyClass.cs and ReSharper will create a new file for the class and put it in that file's directory. I do this with the other classes, and as you can see in the Solution Explorer, the classes have been put into their respective files. Now that they're in separate files, I can show you how easy it is to navigate between them. If you press and hold Ctrl and click on a class or a method, it will take you to where that class or method is defined. You can also find the usages of that method or class in your code. Right click on a method or class and select Find Usages. This will jump you to that usage if there is only one of them. If there are multiple usages, a window will open with the usages organized by files. From here you can click on a usage and it will jump you to it. Let's look at naming conventions. Say I declare a constant string called myNewConstant. Now because this naming convention doesn't match ReSharper's one, it'll flag up as a warning. If I click on it and press Alt and Enter, we can select Rename to myNewConstant. Now say I wanted to change this naming convention, press Alt and Enter, select Inspection Inconsistent Naming, and then select Change Naming Rule Constant Fields Non-Private. A dialog will pop up, and from here you can change the naming convention. You can also do it from the Options menu if you prefer. Click on ReSharper, Options, and under Code Editing, select C#. Click Naming Style, and from here you can change the naming conventions for your code. Let's change the color scheme so that we're using ReSharpers. Click ReSharper, Options, Code Inspection, Settings, and click Enable Code Analysis. Make sure color identifiers are enabled. It would seem that ReSharper 10 has already enabled mine, Ace, probably remembering my settings from ReSharper 8. You can also highlight the current line by enabling it. Click Editor under the Environment menu and select Editor Appearance. Click the Highlight Current Line box to enable it. There's still a lot of things to cover with ReSharper Ace, but hopefully this is enough to get us started. And that's it. Rate, comment and subscribe, Ace. I hope you're enjoying the new year. You can email me at retrotk2@gmail.com with any of the extensions that you're using. Thank you for watching, Ace, and I'll see you in the next video.